Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is a beautiful day today, and I figured I would take advantage of it. I should be probably just going for a walk and enjoying the outdoors while the nice weather lasts, but I'm gonna take advantage of it, and we're gonna hop inside Lucky here. Picked up a few things that I'm gonna need to finish off the install, not finish off, actually start the install and hopefully finish off the install of my 1000 watt power inverter. I picked it up a little while ago at basically a pawn shop for like, I think it was $31. We are currently right now outside Princess Auto. We're gonna hop inside Lucky and see what we can do. If you saw my battery monitor video, you know that I have to move my entire bed to the front of Lucky, so I won't subject you to that this time, so give me a minute and then come on inside. All right, well, I am getting better at moving all that stuff out of the way, so that's nice. I really don't know if I recommend putting your power station under your bed. I just don't know. This is the inverter that I found at a place called the Buy and Sell store here in Calgary. It was 30 bucks. These things are stupid expensive, especially brand new, obviously. So that was a pretty cool find. That being said, who knows, maybe it won't work. Although that place is usually pretty good at testing stuff before they take it. So even if it doesn't work, or even if it only works for a little bit, 30 bucks, I'm not complaining. So this is the inverter, right? Someone's got a big engine outside. Although it's funny, I say that like you can hear it, and you probably could hear that, but there's been a couple times in my vlogs where stuff's been going on outside, but then by the time I put all my audio filters on it in editing, you can't actually hear it, so maybe I'm just talking about nothing. Anyway, this is what I know about this, and again, full disclosure, I'm not an expert when it comes to this stuff. From my research that I did online, that you could do as well, there's two different kinds of inverters. There's modified sine wave and pure sine wave. Pure sine wave, as I understand it, is the better of the two, also the more expensive. All I gotta do is positive to my battery with a circuit breaker in between, or a fuse, kind of the same thing. I've opted to go with basically with circuit breakers. I got this guy off Amazon. He's 100 amp. That's what I discovered through reading about installing an inverter, that when it's 1000 watt, you want at least 100 amp fuse. And these guys are nice. You can always disable, like when they blow, right? They just go like that. You don't have to actually replace the fuse. And you're good to go. So this is gonna go in line between my battery and the inverter on the positive line. And then I'm gonna have a negative line running from the inverter to the negative side of my battery monitor shunt that I installed last time. It's got two wall outlets that you would find in your house, a USB port, and then this guy that looks like a phone jack is actually for the remote control. This here, right? I can mount this switch wherever I need to mount it, and it's got the opposite end of the phone jack. That's what I'm gonna call it. You plug that in and then you can turn this on and off. And that's important, again, as far as I know, because inverters will, when they're on, they will always draw a little bit of power from your battery, and if you're not using this, you shouldn't be leaving them on. I probably don't need 1000 watts. I could have gone for something smaller. This is just what happened to be at the pawn shop, right? I only want to charge really my computer. A few vlog entries back, I don't know which one now, it's been a hot minute, I discovered that I can't video edit without being plugged in. I get about 5 minutes of usable computer time until the whole thing just shuts down. It's just a huge resource hog on my battery. So I've been editing at public libraries, which has actually been kind of nice, but there's gonna be the odd occasion where I'll wanna at least charge my computer or work out of the van and not have shore power. Hopefully this will be the solution to that. So enough yapping, let's get to the installation. Should be fairly simple. All right, so I got the bed folded up, and this is the power station here, more or less is where it's at. The batteries are in here, and here's all my wiring. I know it looks like a mess, but don't worry, everything's quite safe. This is really my only spot to put the inverter. I'm only using 6-gauge cable. So with my battery box, they're flooded batteries, so they're sealed and they vent out the side, and then all the wires run out of the box, and I've cleaned it all up, or it doesn't look clean, but I've sealed all of those holes that I made in the box for the wires to go in with silicone. So when I did my battery monitor, I actually preemptively put this positive cable in there so I wouldn't have to rip any more silicone out. So that's good to go. To go back to talking about the wire, 6-gauge wire probably isn't recommended when you're installing on a 1000 watt inverter. But again, I'm only going to be charging my computer. I don't have anything heavier to run off of it. And that is not a very long distance, right? So from the battery here to here, the 6-gauge wire should be okay. I did ask somebody who knows a little bit more than me, and by a little bit, I mean a lot of it. And then we have to do the negative and the positive. We're gonna have to cut them, put lugs on them, and attach them. But what I have to do first is, so up here, this is my main switch. If I turn this, all the lights will turn off in the van. That's my flashlight. Turn that back on. So that's like my main on-off switch. And then down here, if you can see it, yeah, there's another one. That goes to my DC to DC charger. And it's the way I have them mounted right now. They're a little janky. And this won't quite fit there, right? It's a little high, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to change the orientation on my circuit breakers. Okay, I've almost been ready to call it, just because this is a very tight space, and fitting this guy in here is a challenge for sure. And like the length of the wires are going to be actually like ridiculously short, but I am going to try and push through and just get her done. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my negative cable. I think, actually, hang on, let me rethink that. I might start now with my positive, because I'm going to have this positive run out here and run right here, and that's where I will mount the 100-watt circuit breaker. And then it's going to have, the line's going to have to run from here out and then all the way sort of back here, because by the time I get the inverter in, this is where the positive negative terminals on the inverter end up. It's a tight squeeze, and like I said, I almost just like, no, screw it, I will put this off till another day and I will get longer wire and run it somewhere else. But I've been looking around lucky, and there's not exactly a lot of space where something like this could go. All right, we'll keep trying this way. Okay, I'm not going to film myself doing the entire process, because it's going to be very similar to what I did in my battery monitor install video. This is everything that I'm going to use, I think. I got my crimper over here, smash this with this. I'm using my hatchet as a hammer. This is the only thing I can use to crimp lugs of this size onto 6-gauge wire or bigger. I had to go into Princess Auto. I had to get 2 more lugs like this. I don't know the size, and you can't really see them through the plastic bag, so that's awesome. But these are actually a little bit bigger than I needed, but it's all that they had. That's what will fit on the actual bolt of the shunt, because those bolts are large. I don't know how big the bolts are. I couldn't find it online, so I am sorry, but you need something about that big. Also, don't have proper wire cutters to cut or strip 6-gauge wire, so I use my knife to actually cut the wire and then to strip off a little bit of the shielding that's on it. And yeah, then I use, what is this little Allen key tool? That's to tighten down the ends inside the circuit breaker. And then I will use heat shrink on the wire with the lug as well to sort of seal it up and just make sure it's extra protected. Okay, so everything is connected except for the final positive cable to the battery. We'll see what happens. I don't care how much research I do. Every time I put something new into the electrical system, I always think it's gonna set everything on fire, but I've done everything properly, so it should be okay. The shunt's just looking, you know, a little sus down here with all the negative connections, but yeah, no, everything's good. The only problem is the way the wires connect to the inverter. Actually, I might be able to fix it. I was gonna say I can't have my little protecting caps on the inverter, but I might look at fixing that. But let's get this thing powered up and see if it works. So we gotta go into the battery here. Okay, so here is my battery. I guess I should say batteries. And we need to connect this to there. Disconnect the negative first. Okay, so I've got the breaker that goes to the inverter off right now, just so I can reattach the negative over here first. Get our lights back. Moment of truth. So this has a digital display on it. Let's turn on the breaker. Okay, I heard a click. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Really? Well, I did say it might not even work. I will poke around and see what I can see. No idea why it's not working. It's got this other ground connection on it. you know? So I tried putting another cable from there to another negative connection. That still didn't work. What kind of is obnoxious is I don't have a multimeter right now. I believe it's in Sanctuary. So I can't check my work to see if there's voltage actually coming to the wires that I just installed, but I'm more inclined to think that it's this. Okay, so maybe instead of feeling completely defeated today, like I'll still finish this video. I also picked this up while I was in Princess Auto. Somebody's backing up. This little triple 12 volt outlet. So what I want to do is I want to run this back probably to about here, right next to my battery monitor and whatnot, so that I can use my plugins, so I can charge my phone, my Switch, and etc. I had one back here. I picked up a little one from Canadian Tire that had one 12 volt socket and one USB socket on it, and it fried the other day. I'm not 100% sure why. It was when I had my battery charger plugged in, so maybe that has something to do with it. Either way, it was pretty thin cable. I think I was using 16, maybe 18 gauge cable. I do have some 12 gauge cable on hand. I might have enough, and I'm hoping what I can do is just cut off this part and wire it to my fuse panel at the front, because this idea here is like you're just supposed to plug this into one cigarette lighter and it turns it into 3, but I don't want it up there and I don't want it plugged into the car. We want to run off the house batteries. So I'm gonna cut this off and see if I can figure that out. That way I'll feel like I achieved something with my electrical system today. Actually, I think I'm gonna put a pin in that. This weather is just too nice to not get out there and enjoy it a little bit, and the cats are getting a little stir crazy, so we're gonna rip down to the park and I'm gonna let them out on their leads for a little bit. And you know what? If I get to those outlets later tonight, then cool. If not, whatever. You know, it's one of those moments, if you look at the weather app, today is double digits and the rest of the week is very small single digits. So screw staying inside the house. Okay, figured, well, she's being so well behaved on her lead out there. Don't prove me wrong. Hey, Penny? She's not trying to get away, she's just eating the grass, which is super obnoxious. Figured I would take the opportunity to do a little bit of cleaning. I got a whole bunch of stuff here on like at the back of my passenger seat, and the mat's kind of grubby up there. I got a whole bunch of stuff just sort of kicking around. It'd be nice to just sort of tidy it up. As long as she behaves and the doors are open and we're enjoying what's going on out here today, I'm okay with whatever. And that whatever is cleaning. So this thing was a no-brainer. All of my other tools that I used for the van build were Ryobi, so it uses the same batteries, and it was like, I think 40 bucks at Home Depot. There's 2 of these little dust busters, that's how I know them as. This one, and then one that's a little bit bigger and far more expensive. I think it's almost $100. I think you can do wet with that, like you could vacuum up spills with it and stuff. I wasn't too concerned about that for in here, and so far this one has been working really well. Comes with this little crevice tool and everything. Slide brush. And you learn stuff about it every day. Works great for picking up all that sort of, just, you know, that really fine dirt and gravel and stuff that gets tracked in to any car. This is what I'm using to clean this Mrs. Meyer's, clean day. I think this one's lavender. Yeah, it smells really good. It's multi-surface, removes dirt. Perfect. What more do I need? I didn't realize when I made my fold-out table that it was gonna be a cat's, upper balcony? Really? As soon as I flipped that thing out, she was on it. All We'll see if she makes herself really comfortable. What was with the head bobbing? Are you okay? You tripping out?
Let's see if she makes herself really.
Hey. Somebody misbehaved and pulled out of her harness. Now you're grounded. Escape-proof my ass. Do you want to try going outside? And I wanted to point this out, the towel rack that I put in not too long ago, it's actually turned into a very functional place to put my spray bottles. They seem to hang up here perfectly. The other one goes right up here and they don't fall off in transit. So that was a pleasant surprise. Before, I had them inside my water station, but ever since I put this blanket on here, it's kind of become obnoxious to lift that up and open the door every single time I wanted to get a spray bottle. I know, first world problems, but still, this is much more convenient, at least for now. Gonna close up everything here, get Stella outside probably for a little bit, and maybe head over to the library to do a little bit of editing before we hunker down for the night. And actually, before we even do that, I do have to go pick up a whole bunch of supplies. We are out of like paper towel and water. So, okay, now that's alarming. Let's just go do that. Got our water, got our paper towel, and got a carton of milk, which is super awesome. I actually got 2 jugs of water because I haven't been drinking enough, and drink more water. But anyway, if you're one of my like subscribers who's been watching a long time, you know the last time I came out of Superstore, I told a story where I was complaining about plastic bags. I have a story this time too, which is kind of funny, same Superstore, but I'm not complaining. Well, not really, I guess kind of. I walk up to the self-checkouts. I usually do that just because it tends to go quicker. Point is, I'm coming up to the self-checkout and the young guy there, he's standing there because they gotta ask if you want plastic bags now, and then they give you a plastic bag, right? I just say, hey, how you doing tonight, man? And he says back to me, sorry, I'm trying to get my milk. He says back to me, good, man, good. Thank you for acknowledging my existence. I'm sorry, really? And I looked at him and I said, are you kidding me? And he's like, and he tells me the story about how he says hi to a lot of people and they don't even acknowledge him. And I believe him. It's real bad, like just, I don't know. I got to talking to him, I ended up holding up the line, but I don't do this a lot on my channel. Fuck it if people were waiting, because we were having a nice conversation, just a nice one-on-one, talking about how people should be nice to each other and just, you know, say hi. It's not that hard. He said, yeah, I guess I live in a world where people weren't raised right by their parents. I mean, we can't pigeonhole it for why people are the way they are. But ultimately it comes down to just say hi, just be pleasant with people. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to ignore people. I don't know, that really bothered me, but it was super cool. Sorry, there's a helicopter. Because of course there's a helicopter or a plane. Both. Yeah, there it goes. You can see it. I had a really nice conversation with him, just talking to him and just about life and how what he wants to do with his life. He said he was like 20 something and his goal now, he just wants to sell the house that he's in, move to BC, build a little hunting cabin to live in, get a fishing rod and his gun and go out there and live on the land. I was like, do it, obviously. It ain't just me. And guys, I'm sure everybody that watches me is super polite when you go out and say, when you go out into public. But if for whatever reason you don't say hi to people, just say hi. How's your day? It goes a long way. Starting to hunker down for the night at Hotel Walmart. Actually, it should be Hotel Lucky outside Walmart, but whatever. And I decided before I turn in for the night, I am going to power through with this thing. I had a bit of a down day today after everything we did, like with the inverter not working, kind of took the wind out of my sails, and then went down to Fish Creek Park, hung out with the cats there, did that cleaning. But after I stopped filming that and I let Stella out, I just was kind of at a loss for things to do, right? It was just a down day, which is fine. That's going to happen, I guess. And my solution was I pulled out my Switch and started playing a game on there and kind of got hooked. So it's dying and I kind of need a way to charge it. I figured, well, that's a good enough excuse to get this thing wired. So if you've never done anything like this before, join the club. It's not necessarily true. I'm going to cut this off. This is the plug-in that would go into the cigarette lighter. Just going to get wire cutters here. Boom. Gone. Bye-bye. Ruined everything. Now, I'm not sure what the gauge is on this wire. I'm just going to split them here. Pretty friggin' small. Let's see, maybe it's 18. Now, the only thing with this is we got to figure out which wire, of course it's not copper, cheap. We got to figure out which wire is negative and which one is positive. I'm going to use this is my USB and USB-C plug-in. I'm going to put it into here, and then I'm just going to tap these wires against the terminal, and whichever way they are, this will light up when they're correct. Then I'll know which one's positive and which one's negative. I got this plug-in off Amazon. I got it because it's a high wattage one and it's got a USB-C. I thought it would charge my computer, and it should, but no, this thing overheats and just turns itself off. Don't buy this crap off Amazon. Look at that, it doesn't even like stay in. Oh, no, even then. But anyways, on with the show. Touch these against the terminal, this one against negative, this one against positive. Oh, we get blue light. Blue light should go away. Cool. Okay. Positive, negative. This is the positive one. That's how I remember. And I am gonna do, whatever. We'll see what happens. It's all fused up, so it should be fine. I'm gonna use the 12 gauge wire I have for the positive and 14 gauge wire that I have for the negative. This is smaller than both of those, so we're gonna find out what happens together. It'll just work for now until it burns out again, I bet. Okay, now the really fun part. I have to run the wire behind the cabinets and bring it back out next to the fuse box over there. So I'll probably just end up having to speed this up because that's literally all it is. I've got both my wires attached. It's nice that I'm using different gauge wire because that way I can tell which one is the negative without having to do anything else special to it. And yeah, then we should be good to go. All right, so here are our wires running from behind the counter. Now we just gotta cut them, strip them, and I'm gonna put 2 of these little guys on to make my life easier. Every other connection on my fuse box is a ring terminal, and I was stupid to do that because these are all little screws that you just undo, and these ones just allow you to push them on as opposed to having to take the screw all the way out, put it through the terminal, and then screw it all back in. All right, so spooky horror lighting situation over here. Great success. I'm all the way up here, and we've got power. Ooh, oh, look at the percent it's at. That's funny. But lightning bolt means we're good. I'm gonna leave that here. This was, I mean, it wasn't that impromptu, but it was impromptu when the inverter didn't work and the inverter installation didn't work. And this place is a mess, so I've got a lot of cleaning to do. So I'm gonna leave it here until the next one, guys. Go out there, be happy, be creative, be yourselves. Most importantly, be positive, and I'll see you all in the next one.